Hello, my loves. Welcome back to the It Girl Mindset. We're diving into how to enter your soft girl discipline era. And I want to explain what this means to me and how I'm also going to be entering my soft girl discipline era. Everyone is so intense on social media right now, or they're in their soft girl, listen to your body, don't show up for yourself era. There's these two extremes, and there are seasons to be in your soft girl era, and there's seasons to be in your intense discipline era. Those are seasons though. There is allowed to be this in between of showing up for yourself, but doing it with intention, okay? And that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about how I'm setting goals, how I'm configuring my habits, how I'm setting up my day so I can continue to move forward and grow, but I'm doing it in a way that I'm still allowing fun for myself. I'm still, enjoying my day-to-day life and not feeling like I'm rushing from one thing to the next, okay? Because trust me, I've done the intense go hard discipline for so long, and honestly, it just burns me out eventually, and it's going to burn you out eventually too. But I've also been on the other side where I'm in this soft girl, not getting anything done. And I don't want to be there either. That doesn't feel good to me, right? We don't have to be productive 24/7, but at the same time, I'm such a growth-oriented person. I am very disciplined, but it doesn't need to be super, super intense or nothing at all, right? We can live in this in between where we're moving forward, reaching our goals, but it feels so ingrained in a part of our life that it doesn't feel like, oh my gosh, I'm burnt out, okay? And honestly, the reason this came up for me is because I kind of keep getting in these phases where I go hard, whether that's a couple weeks or a couple days, and then my body physically burns out and I have to rest for long periods of time. And I'm getting annoyed of this cycle of so much energy and then nothing, so much energy and not. So I really want to stop burning myself out and live in this in between where I'm resting, but also always keeping the promises to myself, because that's one thing about me is I am going to keep the promises to myself, because self-trust is not something that I mess around with. I've spent so much time building that trust with myself and proving to myself that I can be someone that I can rely on. And so that's why I'm never going to let that part of me go. But I also want to leave space for creativity and fun and joy and pleasure and all of that within this. And I think all of those can exist at the same time, right? And I think comparing to other people on social media can be really challenging because you see them in this high intensity, go hard phase, but what you're not seeing and what they're probably not posting on social media is their burnout phases, right? If you don't create a way of living, taking care of your body, reaching your goals, a part of your life that feels aligned, you're going to end up burning out no matter what. So even if you see these people on social media that look like they're going hard 24/7, I guarantee they're burning out and just not telling you. So again, entering your soft girl discipline era is not about pulling back or slowing down. It's just about reaching your goals with a different type of energy. It's not this crash out, psycho, tweaker energy, right? It's this intention and being so intentional with your time that you have space for, the creativity, the fun, the pleasure, whatever it may be. And honestly, this is all sparked because, again, I'm tired of burning myself, but also I want to get in the best shape of my life. But I want to prove to you that you don't have to be going so hard 24/7. Also, as a side note, I'm a highly sensitive girly, and if you've never heard of an HSP, long story short, my nervous system doesn't have the same capacity as a lot of people. Therefore, I burn out faster. And so that's why I'm really being so intentional with what I'm doing, how I'm showing up, okay? So I'm going to go into the very oddly specific step-by-step routines and how you can create your routines, okay, to step into this next era and become the best version of you. Honestly, I just want to get in the best shape of my life before I get in my motherhood era, because literally, why the frick not? I also want to become the richest and happiest, most hot version of me, because literally, why not? I'm obsessed with growth, and I just want to prove to myself that I can do it in a way that's actually sustainable and not constantly on this burnout cycle. Okay, let's get into it. Step number 1, we're going to pick our focus points. For me, I'm focusing on my physical and mental health. I'm focusing on my finances, and I'm focusing on fun. Those are the 3 main buckets that I'm really focusing on to work towards and level up in all of those areas. So now for you, that's what I want you to do, okay? If you listened to last week's podcast episode, I talked about all of the pillars of wellness, which is, you can go back and listen to it, but it's intellectual, career, relationships, okay? What are the areas of your life that you want to level up, and pick a few. Don't try to pick every single one. Again, that's going to lead to burnout. So pick 2 or 3. And I want to encourage every single one of you to make fun and joy one of those buckets, because when you are having fun and enjoying your life, it makes everything else worth it. Because trust me, I've got to my dream body, made a shit ton of money, and I didn't actually like my actual day-to-day life. And you get there and it's like, okay, what the fuck is the point of this, right? It's so important to build the actual lifestyle that you want, and then in turn, the goals and the external things will come based on who you are being, right? So anyways, I am going to challenge you to make fun, joy, that type of energy one of your buckets, because it's really important to actually enjoy your life. Like, we're literally on a floating rock. Like, you might as well enjoy your time down here, okay? Now, step number 2 is we're going to set some goals. These, and I just want to say, these can change and evolve, right? Don't get so caught up on like, what exactly is my goal, right? We need a general direction to move towards, but this is going to grow and change and evolve. If something doesn't feel aligned, just adjust and move forward, okay? I'm one of those people where I get so stuck in my ego just being like, well, I said I was going to do this, so I have to accomplish it, even if it doesn't feel aligned, and that never ends up working out or feeling good. So if you start a goal and then you're like, this is not feeling aligned, I want to adjust, go ahead and do that. I'm not going to get into the specifics of my goals because I want this to be about you, but for me, I want to get into the best shape of my life, happiest, most magnetic, and richest, okay? All you have to do is write one big goal for each focus area. I also want to say to dream big, okay? There's a book called 10x is easier than 2x. The premise of the book is it's easier to 10x your goals than 2x your goals, because let's just say I want to lose 1 pound, okay? You probably won't have to change who you are to lose 1 pound, but if you want to lose 10 pounds, 20 pounds, whatever it may be, you're going to have to fundamentally change your lifestyle, who you are, how you think. And in turn, you're going to get so much further if you think that way rather than, okay, what's one little tiny step, okay? So I love setting goals that way because it just makes you think differently. If I was like, okay, I just want to, get 20,000 downloads on my podcast as my next goal rather than 50,000, I have to change dramatically how I think, how I act, how I show up, how my podcast, is produced, blah, 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 right? Again, it's just a different way of thinking and being when you think bigger and set bigger goals for yourself. Step number 3 is to configure your key habits. I'm going to get into my nitty-gritty ones. So again, we've got our buckets. I've got my physical and mental health. I've got fun, and I've got finances. So within each of these buckets, I'm going to assign key habits. So again, this is very oddly specific. So just take it for as you will. But for movement, I'm doing Pilates 3 times a week and strength 1 time a week. This is a combination of in my garage / either going to Body Rock or at home gym, whatever it may be. Doesn't matter as long as I'm doing, 3 Pilates, 1 strength. And then I'm doing pole 1 to 2 times a week, and I'm going on daily walks, and I'm saying an average of 10K steps, which for me, again, I'm not this rigid, strict person where I'm like, oh my gosh, I have 500 more steps. I'm going to run around my house to get it, right? So that's why I'm having a range of 8 to 12K steps. So then the average is 10K, because I think yesterday I walked 12K steps. And if today I hit 8K steps, that averages out 10K both days. So again, I'm leaning into my body and what it needs, but at the same time, I'm giving myself that range depending on the day, but I'm still showing up for myself and I still feel accomplished when I get 8 to 12K steps, okay? The next habit for physical and mental health is journal and meditate daily. I have been just creating this juicy, calming morning ritual and it feels so freaking good. I'm going to go into exactly what that is when we get into the rituals section, but it's just been feeling so good and it's making me feel so good and energized and excited for my day. So that is one thing I'm going to continue doing every single day. No questions. Even me and Eric are going to Tahoe next week and I'm continuing with that because I want to feel fucking good even on vacation. Okay. Supplements. I have a naturopath appointment tomorrow, so I'm healing my gut. I don't know why I feel like you know this. I feel like I say it every single time, but anyways, long story short, I'm healing my gut and I have a naturopath appointment tomorrow. So I'm going to be implementing whatever protocol she gives me. If you guys want a full episode on my gut health journey and what I've done working with a naturopath, because she's been a piece of my journey, but there's been so many other things that have helped heal my gut, which has cleared my acne, and I've got some other symptoms that are really uncomfortable. But yeah, if you want a full podcast episode on that, comment down below. And for food, I am so fine. I'm great with the quality of food that I'm eating. I eat so healthy. I eat veggies, I eat plants, I eat protein. I'm freaking good there. But I will say something I've noticed is I'm kind of finishing everything on my plate rather than actually tapping into my hunger and fullness cues. Also, me and Eric eat out of these massive freaking bowls. They are these white bowls that are meant to be like, you know, you make a big salad and then you share, but we just eat out of them mainly because we eat on the couch and it's just easier to like mix things up and stuff. But I'm going to eat out of smaller bowls because anytime I want to lose a little bit of fat, I don't track calories and macros. That's not for me. I have struggled with an eating disorder in the past. I just don't think it's a sustainable way to reach your goals. Okay. You can feel differently, but for me, it doesn't work. So I use other ways like increasing my amount of steps. So again, that 8 to 12K steps, leaning into the higher 10 to 12K is something that I'm doing to, again, reach peak physical fitness. And then also eating out of smaller bowls is another kind of hack. Okay. There's so many ways that you can reach your dream body and it doesn't have to be rigid and strict. You can just make small little tweaks, which is exactly what I'm doing. And I'm also eating till 80% full instead of just eating what's on my plate, like really just focusing into that mind-body connection. As a side note, the last couple days I've only had, okay, I almost was going to lie. No, I had a matcha and no coffee yesterday. I had a matcha the day before and a cup of coffee. Today, so far, I've only had a matcha. The day is still young though, so we'll see. But I feel like I'm so much more connected to my body when I'm not all hyped up on caffeine. Like the matcha just really allows me to feel more connected to my body, my hunger and fullness cues, my intuition, my intuitive pings. So just as a side note, it's been really interesting just having matcha and no coffee and seeing how it's affected me these last 2 days. Anyways, I'm not saying I'm giving up coffee because I love coffee, but it's just an interesting thing that I noticed. Now for fun. So obviously pole is for physical, but it's mainly for fun. I have so much fun going to classes, just being around other girls. We're learning and growing and just, it makes me feel so hot and sexy and just empowered in my body and even more connected to my body. So that is a fun thing. Golf, I also want to do once a week. Sometimes I get in these modes where I'm like, I need to work, not golf. And it's like, why? I always get my stuff done. I never don't get my stuff done. So it's like, why not golf once a week? So that's another fun thing I want to implement. Also too, just like spontaneous fun things. I'm not very spontaneous if I'm being honest. Like I love structure and routine, but something I've been craving is to take Luna, my dog, English Korean Golden Retriever, she's so freaking cute, to the beach because she loves it and I love watching her just frolic in the ocean, and the beach is also so calming. So that's another thing that I really want to do. Also too, when I'm driving there, I just feel like, I don't know, so free, like just driving, blasting music, me and my doggy out to the coast. So yeah, that's another thing that I kind of want to add as well. Okay, next is finances. So every single week, I want to track my weekly inflows and outflows. I actually had a mentor teach me this where instead of like income and expenses, because that just sounds so boring and blah, she calls them inflows and outflows, which I love, especially like working on your money mindset, just knowing that money, every dollar I spend comes back to me tenfold, or just, again, the energy of money. So what I'm doing is I do that monthly, but I want to just start doing it weekly, just to look at my inflows and outflows, see where I'm at for the month, and just be really conscious and mindful of that. And then the other habit is daily money affirmations. So I'll get into where I'm using that when I get into the ritual, because habits and rituals are very different, right? We've got the thing that we need to do, but how can we actually make it juicy and enjoyable and fun so you actually want to show up and do those things? When I just think about journaling and just like sitting downstairs journaling or sitting at my desk journaling, I'm like that sounds so boring. But how I've made it into a ritual, which I'll talk about, is what makes it juicy and fun and like exciting and, just something that I actually want to show up and do. Now it's your turn to create your daily habits. And how I mapped all of these out is I want you to think about the version of you who has accomplished these goals and who is thriving in your 3 buckets that you chose to focus on. Who is she? What is her energy like? What are her daily habits? How does she make other people feel? What's her career? Like, really just dive so deep into who this version of you is. And then from there, you can be like, okay, what are her key habits? What does she do on a day-to-day basis, weekly basis, to, again, thinking with these 3 buckets, 2 to 3 buckets in mind, to be thriving in those areas, right? So I want you to think about it from that perspective. And then again, think about not just daily, but weekly and monthly tasks, okay? So maybe if, for example, for finances, if you are like, weekly sounds like too much and I don't want to do it, then maybe just start off with monthly, right? You don't have to do what I'm doing. I will say I use an app called Monarch. It is so life-changing. Like, it's cute, and they make everything really, really easy to just import all of your credit cards or whatever. And so you can keep everything super organized and see all of your inflows and outflows. And like I said, it's cute. For me, it needs to be a ritual. So like, I need a part of it to be cute and fun, or else I'm not going to have the motivation to do it. Okay, step number 4 is to create your rituals and routines. Okay, we're getting into my oddly specific routine because, like I said, I'm very structured. And am I going to do this exact morning routine for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks? No, but this is what it is right now. And if I feel like I need to switch things up to make it more fun, then I'm going to do that, okay? But I've been doing this the last couple of days, and I've honestly just been in the best mood, and it's just got me so excited for my day and just so grateful for my life. Like, being able to slow down and take some special time for yourself and work on your mindset, work on your self-development, and making sure that you feel fucking good for your day makes your life so much better. So my morning routine: wake up, brush my teeth, wash my face, all the things. I let Luna out. I force her to get out of the bedroom because my boyfriend sleeps in a little bit later than I do. And she'll just like jump up and wake him up and then want to get out of the room, and then he has to like get up. So anyways, I take Luna out with me. I let her out, go to the bathroom, do her, dog mom duties. And then I'll empty the dishwasher. I make my matcha. And then I also prep the oatmeal for the day. So every single morning I make oatmeal for me and Eric, but I make it in a rice cooker. So I literally add all the ingredients in, and then it takes like 15-20 minutes. And then we have oatmeal for both of us. It's so easy, and I love oatmeal, and I've probably eaten it every single day in some capacity for the last like year and a half. Packed with fiber, all the good stuff. So I do that, and then I come upstairs into my cute little office that you can see, and I set the vibe. Okay, this is such an important piece of my morning routine. I have not wanted to journal for honestly probably like 4 to 6 months. I just have not been excited. I felt like I was doing enough personal development, but I really find that I feel so good when I let out I just kind of like brain dump everything out. So, but I haven't been wanting to. So I was like, how can I make myself want to do it? Set the vibe. I come in here, I close the blinds, I put on my salt rock lamp, I light a candle, sage the room. I've got my matcha. It's so cute and warm and cozy, and I meditate with my big headphones on, and then I journal after that. Again, the energy is different because I just set the vibe and I romanticize it rather than just like, okay, I'm just going to sit at my desk and journal with like all the bright, boring ass lights on and whatever. And with my journaling, what I do is I do a brain dump, whether that's half a page, a full page of just getting everything out of my brain, how I'm feeling, anything else. And then I do like affirmations, and the affirmations that I do are specifically what I need to hear that day. Right? So if I have like a presentation, I don't know why I would have a presentation, or maybe I need confidence to record my podcast, I will say like, I'm confident podcast host, blah, 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 right? Or, I'm magnetic and all my desires also want me, right? I kind of say the thing that I need to hear and want to embody that day. And then sometimes I'll write my goals out. I honestly don't like to get too caught up on my goals because I've said this before, like, in my last podcast episode, like, you need to focus on systems, not goals. And so I used to write down my goals every day, but honestly, sometimes it can be like, oh my gosh, I'm not there. So every once in a while, I'll just write them down to remind myself. And I'm just being so intentional. And this doesn't mean slow or pulled back. It's just like giving yourself space to do this, right? I even set my alarm for 5:30 today, so I would actually have time in the morning to do this in a slow way that feels good. And now I'm like, wow, it's only 10 o'clock. I feel like I've been up for so long, but I feel so good, right? I'm kind of being flexible with my movement. Sometimes I'm going to do it in the morning. I do love to do it in the morning, but just depending on filming and what I have planned for the day, I might also do it in the evening or even in the middle of the day. I'm one of those people where I'm very intuitive with what I want to do, and like my body knows when I want to do something and when I don't. So I can kind of know if I'm making an excuse and I don't want to work out versus like, okay, no, I actually would feel rushed if I did it right now and I want to do it later. Okay, for my evening routine, again, this is oddly specific. Aloe vera juice and buffered vitamin C. I'm really working on reducing inflammation, especially before bedtime because I get really uncomfortable when I sleep. So that's something that I'm doing in the evening. I also am implementing, I actually didn't write this down, but last night, like I did like a little bit of a cleanup before bed, even just like a quick little vacuum, and that just felt so insanely good to just wake up to a clean house. So gonna do a little bit of a cleanup before, and then shower, PJs, and gua sha. I got a facial a couple weeks ago, and she just said that I have a lot of inflammation in my face, so I've been really trying to gua sha in the evenings with this skincare that I have. Oh my gosh, for my acne girlies, I use Empire Squid, and it's this oil, and I also use this face wash that they have, and oh my gosh, you guys, it has helped my skin so much. Like, I've been getting so many compliments on how glowy and how good my skin looks, and I think they're actually a small business, so yeah, they are, because they sent a little letter just saying like, thanks for supporting like a super small business, like we're so grateful for you. So you should check them out. Empire Squid. I'm obsessed. And then after that, I'm doing some red light, again, reduce inflammation. And then I'm listening to my money affirmations. So that's what I said, like I'm working on my money mindset. One of those things I'm doing is right before bed. That is when you are in a different brainwave state that can kind of bypass the conscious mind and go straight to the subconscious mind when you're in a more relaxed state, which in turn changes your brainwave. So I'm listening to those affirmations every single night, just really embodying these positive money affirmations, and again, really embedding them into my subconscious. So very specific morning and evening routine. Okay, so now it's your turn. If you don't have any morning or evening routine, please do not copy mine. I've been doing morning routines for like a decade, and they grow and evolve and change, and there's seasons of there's a really big step, and then there's seasons where there's a small amount, right? So find ways of creating rituals and routines that feel fun to you, right? I always like to say, do one thing that you're excited to wake up to. Maybe that's, a matcha and journaling, or, even drinking your coffee outside on your deck, whatever it may be. Do one thing that you're excited to wake up to, and then do another thing for your mindset that makes you feel good, and that's going to get your head in the right place. Like, maybe that is meditation or journaling or whatever it may be. You can even habit stack them too, drinking your coffee and journaling, okay? But the more you create a morning that you're excited to wake up to, the easier it is for you to want to wake up early, which is going to in turn want to make you go to bed early, right? Step number 5 is structure your days to avoid burnout. I was thinking about how I talked about at the beginning, where I just have been burning myself out and just getting so tired and needing to just like lounge and do nothing. And not that there's anything wrong with resting, but I can feel myself going hard and then having to pull back and then going hard and having to pull back. And that's why I'm entering this soft girl discipline era, so I can like be so intentional with my time, but then also add rest in to my days. So this is how I'm planning out my days. Again, I'm going to tell you how you should schedule out yours, but this is how I'm doing it. So every single day, the first hour is me time, meditating, journaling, drinking my matcha, whatever it may be. The next hour is going to be a power hour of focused work. I just feel really good and focused when I like get a little bit of work done, just kind of like the tasks that I know need my like peak brain focus. I'm really good at getting stuff done early in the morning. And then after that, I'm going to move my body. Okay, again, like I said, this can adjust, but I'm always going to walk Luna in the morning because she needs to go to the bathroom. We don't really have a backyard, and I also like getting outside for my circadian rhythm and stuff like that. Then after that is going to be work session 1. So this will be 2 to 3 hours. And then after that, I'm giving myself a rest and nourishment, okay? Then I'm doing work section number 2, nourish, rest, work session number 3, and then I'll go into making dinner and all that stuff. The point is I'm breaking my days into sections, but adding rest in between those sections. So that nourishment rest phase could be laying out by my pool and reading, going for a walk and listening to a podcast, or even just watching TV if that's what I need to do. But I want them to be in kind of these controlled sessions. So I'm forcing myself to do them right now because sometimes I'm one of those people, I can go hard working. I can just like, when I'm passionate about something, I could go all day. But I think that's really burning myself out. So that's why I need these intentional nourishment rest phases in between my days, not just like go hard and then I need a whole day to rest, go hard, need a whole day to rest. I don't want to do that. So I'm really focusing on adding in these little breaks. That's what I really think is going to help me stop from burning out. Haven't tried this yet. We're starting today. So I will keep you updated with how that actually goes. And like I said, this is me not telling you what to do like I have everything figured out. This is just what I'm doing and how you can enter your discipline era with me. Soft girl, intentional girly, right? So now your turn. Whether you have a corporate job or you work for yourself or you're a content creator or you own your own business or you're a nurse, whatever it may be, structure your days to work for you. Maybe you have 2 working sections with some rest in between, right? I know everybody's lifestyle is different, and so you shouldn't schedule your days exactly like mine. I have some different goals than you do. I have a different lifestyle than you do. I've got a dog. I don't have kids, so my time's going to look very different than yours if you're a mom, right? So you have to play around with different structures, but what I'm encouraging you to do is have focused work and then unfocused, relaxed rest periods throughout your day. I understand if you're in a corporate job, it might not, and you're in an office, you might not have these as much rest period, but I guarantee you're allowed to go for a 15-minute walk or go sit outside and put some sun on your face for 5 minutes, I guarantee you're allowed to do that, okay? So, and it's going to make you more productive anyways when you actually take these intentional breaks. So that's how I would recommend doing it. The last step is to time block and add to your calendar. You want to add in your weekly, you're adding in everything, okay? Your work, your rest, your weekly tasks. I'm going to add in my weekly finance, 15 minutes to look at my inflows and outflows every single Monday. Okay, I'm going to add my pole classes into my calendar to make sure I get there. I'm going to add in my morning and evening routine to make sure I'm getting up so I have enough time to do the things that I want to do, right? If you don't allocate time, you will not get it done, okay? This is so important. And when I learned time blocking, I was like, holy crap, I am just so productive, right? And do things move and shift around sometimes? Yes. But at the end of the day, if you're adding too much onto your plate, that allows you to see, okay, I need to actually not add all this onto my plate in one day. It's not physically possible, okay? And also adding in these intentional rest times are also going to be helpful. So you know you're actually going to get those rest periods done so you do not burn yourself out, right? I know that was so detailed and in depth. I'm just going to quickly walk through the step-by-step framework, okay? Step number 1, pick your focus points and your buckets. Step number 2 is to set your goals. Step number 3 is to assign your key habits. Step number 4 is to create your rituals and routines. You actually want to show up for them. Step number 5 is to structure your days without burning out, adding in that rest periods and nourishment periods. And then step number 6 is to time block and add everything to your calendar, okay? Use Google Calendar. I have something very exciting that's going to be coming out in the near future that is going to make time blocking so much easier. Okay, my loves. I know that was a lot and so much information. So if you need to listen or watch this a couple times, do that and sit down, write all of this out step by step so you can, again, just actually show up and do this. Don't just listen to this and be like, yeah, I'll do it. Actually sit down with a notebook and do it. Okay? It's going to be so helpful and you're just going to be so much closer to your dream life, dream body, dream finances, whatever it is that you're focusing on. But I hope this was so helpful. If you loved it, don't forget to rate and review the podcast. And if you want even more health, fitness, mindset, my top picks and everything that I'm doing and little Monday motivation, subscribe to the newsletter down below. It's completely free. And I just send a quick little update every single Monday. Again, motivation, mindset, personal development, health, fitness, and everything in between. So if you want to check it out, the link is down below. Thank you so freaking much for being here. I freaking love you, and I'll see you in the next episode.